Guys, what is up? It is your good buddy Sam, and I hope you're excited because it's time for another exciting MSP tutorial. So let's see. First of all, I'm sorry I haven't had time to make a tutorial in what feels like forever. I get really excited about making these tutorials and then really find myself completely without the time and energy to do it, especially now that I'm getting ready to move back to the East Coast and sorting through that whole exciting adventure. But that's all in the past. Right now there is only the future, and the future is Max. I'm here with my patch and my delicious bottle of homebrewed beer. That's right, homebrewed beer, because that's just the kind of person I am. And if you're not jealous right now, you should be, because this is tasting pretty good. I don't even know what we did. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, so what are we doing today? Well, you might be confused because it looks to you like we're looking at tutorial number 2, the step sequencer, and in fact, that's all this is, the little step sequencer. Remember, you step through, send a get column message to the matrix, that number comes out, and you map it to some MIDI numbers, and you hear some MIDI notes. Fine, no big deal. But what I want to focus on today is the mapping part, mapping these numbers, which actually is just, I think, 0 through 11, to actual MIDI notes. And right now I'm just doing that through this note mapper subpatcher that takes the input number, adds 48, and spits it out. And that's why we have this chromatic scale going here. We're playing every single whole and half step. But that's not what we want. What we want, well, maybe it is what we want, but it's not. Eloquent. Anyway, so what we want is to map things a bit more intelligently, and we're going to do that with a sweet object called Coll. Now, Coll is not, you might not have heard of Coll. That's because Coll isn't the most popular object. It's not some fancy highfalutin object that does spectral wave-table synth mapping Fourier resynthesis or anything like that. All it does is well, it's a simple object, a working man's object. It's sort of the micro of objects, if you'll permit me. Anyway, so one of the many amazing things that it can do is take inputs and map them to arbitrary outputs. So, for example, I could say pass a 1 into Coll and then get out whatever I've decided to associate with 1, or 0, and whatever I decided to associate with 0. So if you double click on Coll, it opens up a text editor like this. And now the syntax for making key value pairs, which is a fancy way of saying inputs and outputs into Coll, looks like this. I want to say, if I want to map 0 to the number 1, I'll do 0, comma 1, semicolon. Now if I want to map the number 1 to the number 255, followed by the number 17, followed by the word cow, well, 255, 1 comma, 255, 17, cow. Piece of cake. Now when I close this window, it will ask my phone to store changes, not save changes. And now, sure enough, if I come back into Max and I pass a 0 into Coll, it'll spit out a 1, and if I pass a 1, it passes out 255, 17, cow. Amazing. So the coolest thing about Coll is you can actually save those text files, and if you save them in a nice friendly place with respect to the max search path, then it's easy to have, well, to set up these arbitrary mappings and recall them later. So I'm going to make a new Coll object, and I'm going to give it the argument major.txt. And now when I open up Coll again, it's going to open up this text file as major.txt. And what I'm going to do is save that file. And I'm going to save it in Applications, Max 5, where are you? Max 5, Patches, Templates, make a new folder for Coll, and I'm going to save it as major.txt. And now what I'm going to do here is just say, I'm going to make mappings for the major scale. So I'm going to say 0, because in computer land we index from 0. 0 is do, and 1 is re, and 2 is mi, and 3 is fa. Why is this so hard for me to say it? Anyway, you get the idea. So to do that, we're just going to do a nice little Coll mapping. So 0 maps to do, which is 0. 1 maps to re, which is 2, because this is, we're going up in semitones here. So the tonic is up no semitones from the tonic, obviously, but then re is up 2 semitones from the tonic. And similarly, mi is up 4 semitones, fa is up 5 semitones, sol is up 7, 5 is up, this is a mental workout, I tell you what. 6 is up 11, and that should be it. We should be good. Now we'll save that, And now as numbers come in here, before we add 48, we can take this mapping and we should get the major scale out. So for example, if I pass 0 in here, well, let's look a key slider up. K slider. This will illustrate what's going on pretty well, I think. Okay, so say I pass in a 5, and it's mapped to, can you see it's mapped to, if we start with C as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Make an integer box, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10. And now we notice a problem, possibly, which is that we can only go as high as 7 because we didn't map MIDI note 8 to anything. Now what you might be thinking is, well, this sucks because now we have to map 8 to this note and 9 to this note and 10 to this note and 11 to this note and so on to infinity, but we don't. We can do something very clever. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the number that's coming out of here and we're going to take the modulo of that number so that 8 maps back around to 0 and then pass that out of Coll. So what I'm going to do is put a gate, and this is going to look crazy until it starts to make sense, but what I'm going to do is put a gate outside of the Coll here. Gate, and I'm going to give it 2 outlets and set the first outlet to be open by default. And I'm going to hook the output of Coll up to this gate. Now what I want to do, this outlet here reports, sends out a bang when Coll finishes loading its text file. And what I'm going to do is, whenever I get a bang out of that, I'm going to query Coll for its length. I'm going to ask it how many entries there are. And then any number that comes in here, I'm going to take the modulo of that number, mod the length of this Coll, so that if I ask for a number that's, say, 3 entries beyond the length of Coll, it'll just look for the 3rd entry. It'll ignore how many times we've wrapped around. So let's see. To do that, I trigger, and then what I want to do is first, remember, trigger reads from right to left. So what I first want to do is open up this outlet of the gate, and then send a bang to this Coll to get its length, and that will send the output out of this outlet of the gate, but then I want to set the gate finally back to this outlet so that notes will pass through. Hopefully that made sense. I really, really hope that made sense. It makes sense in my brain, if that helps. 2 goes here, and this bang goes to a message box that says length, that I will put here, bang to length, and this 1 goes to this gate, and now mod. So when a number comes in up here, we're going to take its modulo, the length of this Coll. That's not right. Take its modulo, the length of the Coll, and boy, this is getting crazy. Let's do this like this. Patching is fun. Moving crap all over the place and shit. Alright, that looks good. Move this over 1, and this like this. Is it entertaining to hear me say this like this? What do you think, viewer? That looks pretty good. Okay. And if you guys haven't seen the new patching in Max 6, by the way, it is sweet. Oh my god, it's going to be so great. I cannot wait. I actually don't have to, but more on that later. Anyways, so number comes in here, and yeah, so now if I remake this Coll object, when I send numbers in here through this mod box, number 8 should get mapped back down to 0. Let's see if that works. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 7 got mapped back to 0. Oh, that's okay, actually. We didn't do it wrong. Everything's fine. And that means that if I hook up my K slider again, K slider that I deleted for, I have no idea what reason, we should always get some output. Oh, look at that. It's so cool. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and he just keeps looping back around the octave, which is great, kind of. So last thing we maybe want to do is for 8, I do want to use this Coll to get the mapping, but I also want to add an octave to it. So to do that, I'm going to take, I'm going to split the what comes out of this, what comes from here, into 2 parts, and I'm going to send the second part out like normal, but the first part I'm going to take this same length that we got from this guy, from the length of the call, and divide by that. So now, for example, if I pass in a number that's beyond the range of the octave, like 8, I'll divide by the length of the octave and get how many octaves up I've gone. Yes, this is right. This is right. And multiply by 12 because there are 12 semitones in an octave. And then add that to the output of this before I send it through. Hopefully that makes sense. And now we should be able to just go up and up and up. So starting with 0, 1, 2, 3. Nope, I screwed things up. Let's see, I think I have to remake this object to populate that number box. There we go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and look at that, we're just going up and up and up. So cool, we are so good at max. Okay, that should be basically all we need to do, short term. So now if I hook this thing back up, close this note mapper window, and save, and turn my counter on, you should hear a major scale. Oh my god, how lovely and pleasant. What a lovely, pleasant thing. But listen, we're not lovely and pleasant musicians. We're hardcore. We remember we made a dubstep tutorial, for God's sake. We are intense, hardcore, grungy human beings. So we're going to use a minor scale because minor is where it's at. Minors, girls don't like people who play major scales. It's very 19th century. We're not 19th century. So we should make this into a minor scale. But we should have the major scale saved just in case. So what I'm going to do is make this major scale by default. But now I'm going to open call back up and save as minor.txt in that same call directory. And to make it minor, let's see, you drop the 3rd down 1 semitone and the 6th and the 7th. Save that, close it out. And now I'm going to make a U menu. U menus are fun. If you don't know about U menus, man, you are missing out. And I'm going to give it some menu items. The first one is major. And the next one is minor. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, I see they need a comma. Okay. Sweet. The middle output here gives you the number, gives you that. So U menu just gives you a menu, and when you select something, what comes out this middle outlet here is the value selected as a symbol. So if I prepend open to these, and then send them to call, now I can pick which scale I'm using, whether it's major or minor. And extra arguments for message open. What do you mean extra arguments for message open? Oh, you know what? I don't want open. I want read. Sorry about that. Read. Major. Sweet. Okay. And now if we start this thing playing again, switch to minor. So cool. We could do any scale we want, man. We could go whole tone scale. So let's go in here, save as whole, and whole tone scale goes, let's see, 0 to 4 semitones, 6 semitones, 8 semitones, 10 semitones. And we just leave off this last one for savings. Save. Add it to the, you know, you can actually populate these automatically with a folder object, but more on that later. Whole.txt. Okay. Save, and now set this guy playing. Oh my god, whole tone. We're getting all Debussy up in this bitch. Okay, and scene. So what did we learn in this tutorial? What did we learn? Well, you learned for one thing that I brew amazing beer. You learned that you can use the call object to make arbitrary mappings. You learned the meaning of Christmas, and I don't think you. Well, let's see. Most important thing to take away is remember to save. If you want to save and recall call collections globally, then you have to save them in somewhere that the max search path can find. So, like for example, in Max5 templates, where I saved it. That can you can use umenu with a call to recall arbitrary presets. And yeah, ultimately you can use call to have a really sweet time hanging out with your friends, jamming to some tunes. So there you go. Hopefully that was fun and enjoyable, and if not, at least informative. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully have another tutorial up for you very soon. Take it easy.